Hi, my name is Adam Avrilla and I would like to welcome you back to the design studio. Today we're going to turn this beautiful bouquet into this adorable little bunny arrangement. So before we start, I know we are a month ahead of Easter. I know Easter's in April, this is not by accident, but I wanted to give you guys enough time to actually enjoy doing this with your kids. And so you can do it in March and you can do it again in April, but that is why we're doing it in March. So our supplies that we're gonna need for this design is a wire hanger for the ears, 2.5-inch styrofoam ball for the tail, and then I am using a 5-inch cylinder vase, shallow. You could use a milk jug if you have, cut it down, a 2-liter bottle, cut it down, anything that'll give you a body-like shape. Then we're gonna use some double-sided tape. Make sure it's double-sided, definitely important for you. And then yarn. I picked up a yarn that's a little bit thicker because it works faster for us and match the color of the bouquet that you're doing. Our bouquet this month is yellow and blue, so that's why I picked up this yellow and lavender yarn. So those are our supplies, so let's get started. We're gonna take some tape and we're just gonna wrap it around a little bit on the cylinder. I am not going all the way around. I just put a little bit on either side. And then I'm gonna go on the opposite side and put a piece at the bottom. We don't need a lot of tape, that's just so the yarn doesn't slip off, but we also don't want to be scraping this tape off when we're done, right? So take your yarn, leave a chunk of it at the top coming into the bowl, or the vase, or the container, whatever you're doing, and we're just gonna wrap this. This is, again, a very fun family activity, and it doesn't have to be perfect. As you know, not everything in nature is perfect. And we're just gonna wrap this around until it completely covers the vessel, making sure you hit those tape marks to hold it in place. And then once we have it done, you can just tie it off at the top, cut it with your ribbon scissors, and then just tie it off. The nice thing about if you use a cylinder, I will show you in a second, is that if it's not all the way at the bottom, you can just slide some of this down and separate it out. So this would be the body of the design. So let's set that here. Next, we'll do the tail. I'm gonna take another piece of tape, put it around, and actually, let's go all the way around with this, only because the tape will come off of the styrofoam, but if we put it to itself, it'll hold up a little bit better. So I taped it all the way around. We're gonna grab your yarn, hold a big piece out in your hand, that's what we're gonna tie it off, and just wrap this until you cover the whole orb. So wrap it all the way around until you get it completely covered like this fellow right here. And when you do, you just tie it off at the top, and this is what you have. So now we have the body, the tail, and let's do the ears. You can do whatever size ears you want. If you want to do one hanger and do 2 big ears, that's totally fine. But what I do is, do you see this bend here? If your hanger comes like that, I just straighten it out so it doesn't have that deep bend. And then I take it and I just turn this over on itself. And I turn the other one over, just bend it over. And I know it's hard to see, and I take it and I twist it in. You see how I took this part here and I just flipped it over the actual handle. And we're gonna leave the handle because that's what we're gonna stick it into the arrangement with. But now we have some pretty interesting ears. Again, you can make them bigger if you like, whatever you like you can do. So once we have the shape that you like, I think that's a pretty good shape. Looks like bunny ears. We're gonna take our favorite double-sided tape and we're just gonna put this around a little bit. Doesn't have to be super perfect. You don't wanna have to cover it all. What this is going to do, it's gonna stop the yarn from slipping down and then having to redo it and redo it and redo it. So this is gonna stop that from slipping down a little bit for you. You see I have 1, 2, 3 on this side, 2 on this side. I'm gonna put another piece here and another piece here, and then we can go ahead and start forming the yarn. Okay. Get yourself plenty of yarn out of the spool. You're gonna go through a lot. Tie it down here. I start at one side and just keep wrapping it all the way up. And then you'll see that it's starting to fill in already. And then I just go and I do the one ear at a time. And you can wrap it fast like that and it'll slowly grab down. And if you see that you have an empty space kind of there, you just come back up and give it a little bit more. There's no real rhyme or reason. It's all about just covering it up and using this as a structure for the ears. And then when you get down, you got the one ear finished. How cute is that? You just turn this around in your hand and you do the other side. And you go all the way up. And then you bring it back down and you tie it off. And as you finish this, you have a nice little set of bunny ears. How cute is that? Tie it off at the bottom. Cut it with your ribbon scissors. So now we have our components. We have the ears, we have the body, and we have the tail. Next, we're going to clean up a little bit and prep our foam. So in the base of this, we're going to use this floral foam. It's 1/3 of a block that I'm using for this size vessel. You can get this at at the store. Go into the store, a lot of departments have this. They can sell you a block. You can get it online, but it's wet floral foam. A dish to soak it in. Let's fill it up with water. I've already added the packet of nutrients to this water and dissolved it. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let this sit and soak down by itself. You don't wanna pour water over it and you don't wanna push it into the water. When you do that, it stops absorbing. And once the outside is wet, the inside can't get wet. So that's why it's really important to just let it go on its own. And as you can see, it goes really quickly. So we'll give that a second to soak. All right, now we're in the process of dismantling the beautiful bouquet. This just gives us an idea of all the stems that we have to work with and keeps us organized. So look at all these beautiful flowers for this month. Blue and yellow, super great color combination, and it's gonna look perfect for this design. Let's start with our hydrangea. Few things about hydrangea. Hydrangea needs lots of water. So we wanna make sure we cut it really well, cut it at an angle, and immediately put it into the foam. And I cut that a little bit too big. Immediately put that deep into the foam so it can absorb water as quickly as possible. Next, let's take our other big flowers, which is our yellow spider mums. And we're gonna put these right next to that in the front. and then one in the other side of the hydrangea. Remember, we want to keep this design pretty compact because we really want to showcase the bunny aspects of it. Next, we're going to take our carnations. Aren't these beautiful? These are actually hand dyed to get that gorgeous color. It's absolutely one of my favorites. I'm going to put one on the opposite end of the hydrangea to balance off that color a little bit. And then I'm going to take the other one and just put it upright. You notice it's a little bit above the hydrangea. We still want some depth. We don't want it to be so one level. We still want to see this beautiful round design. Next, our Eurangium. Another hand-dyed color. So is this. These have both been color enhanced, but isn't that perfect? With the yellow, it just really looks gorgeous. So let's just cut some of these off. And we're just going to put these around. These can come up a little bit. We want to see them dancing above the flowers. Give a little bit of life. Take some more off. And then we leave a couple on there so we have some height in the middle. So I cut that shorter, and I'm going to put that right there. So it does come up a little bit. I know at home you don't, but here in the studio we just throw that on the ground, sorry. Next we're going to take our roses. Put one up in the front. And one in the back. The reason we do the one in the front and one in the back with the roses is because if this is going to be on a dining room table, you don't want the person in the back not to see any of the beautiful flowers too. So balance out your money flowers, that's what people call them, the ones that are the more expensive flowers, balance them out. Now our mini carnations, let's go ahead and cut this down so we can get multiple insertions. So we have one here. I'm going to actually cut this down a little bit more. Put one in the back. And these we can cut down. Put up like that. Next, our ruscus. I want to cut this down into 3 different size pieces. It's not about just stripping it down and wasting it. If we can get multiple pieces out of it, why wouldn't we, right? And these are going to go in between the flower items all the way around to make sure that we cover up that foam. And I saved the Matricaria to last. I think it's so delicate, so beautiful. But again, look at all of these different pieces. We can get all of these different insertions off of it. Let's go ahead and cut those. And these, because they're so delicate, they can come up a little bit, like a garden. You know, if you go into a garden, not everything grows at the same height. So this is our take on the garden. So let's just raise them up a little bit, all the way around the design. And this is, again, one of those things that you get your kids involved, it becomes a family activity, and then the kids are proud of it, and they show everybody. Absolutely perfect. Cut this up. And we have another one, so let's go ahead and cut that. Do you see how they're kind of dancing above the other flowers? One more. So this is another perfect example of what you can do with our bouquets of the month. Isn't it great? Just to come up with different things to do, make it look super beautiful, super unique. All right, so that is the actual arrangement. We have the body, the arrangement. Now let's have the ears and the tail peek through. So these you can put up front, form them whatever way you want. Put them like that. And then the tail, take one of your harder stems like a rose, or I'm using the ruscus stem, and you can just pierce this right into that styrofoam ball. So then you have something to put into the back. Let's see. This does not want to stay. There we go. Nope. See, it's not perfect here either. So you just put them in. This is our take of an abstract floral bunny. How cute is that, right? The yarn, the natural material, your kids got to do it with you. It's a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy this as much as I did. And look, something fell out because I didn't put it in the foam all the way. This is a learning thing. So when you're doing it at home, make sure you get that into that foam. Mine wasn't in enough, and when I turned it, it fell out. I want you to see mistakes happen here like they do at your house. So make sure you get it into the foam. But this is our bunny design for March. Enjoy it through Easter. Easter's coming up, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Remember, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next month.